Howdy team, happy Thursday. I'm going to try really hard to make this one quicker than I've been the last couple of weeks. Here's the deal. Sunday morning we are promoting. We're still going to be in our clumps. Senior teachers, if you're ready, we'd love to go ahead and break off the senior group and at least get that ball rolling so we have 5 groups on Sunday morning instead of the 4. If y'all aren't ready, that's okay, but we'd love to get that ball rolling. But here's the deal. We're going to do the get to know you sheets because some of you are going to get students you haven't met yet, and we want to start collecting that information too so we can get in contact with our kids more and more. Sunday morning I'm also going to be giving you your prayer study books if you didn't get that yet, so please don't let me forget this. This is really important because that's going to be a huge deal for our entire church. That all being said, even though we're doing the get to know you forms, which is going to take some time, and I want you to spend some time on that. Actually fill out the forms and then go over the answers. Have some fun with that with the kids, even though there's bigger groups. We want to look at Matthew chapter 6, and of course I would look at one of the biggest chunks when there's limited time. So hear me say this. I don't expect you to go over all of these verses. In fact, I'm going to give you just 4 questions. Whether you choose to summarize the passage for our students or you choose to go over some stuff in depth with them, either way is totally okay. The time is yours to use. But we're going to look at Matthew chapter 6, specifically verses 25 through 71, which again, that's a huge chunk, so don't feel like you have to read all of these verses. But I'm going to give you some pointers and 4 questions that I think you can use for this section. Here's the deal. Jesus has fed the 5,000. He has now walked on water, and now he's coming to a place where all the people who got fed, the 5,000, woke up and they're hungry, and so they go looking for that Jesus guy. And he's like, hey, that dude fed us some really good fish. I bet he's still got some more. In fact, we saw him leave with 12 baskets of food, and it wouldn't be anything for him to tear off some more and feed us again. So let's go find him. So they show up. Jesus says, hey, guys. And he's like, hey, Jesus, it's amazing that you're here. Wow, you're here. And Jesus calls them out and says, hey, you don't care about me. All you care about are the loaves and the fishes. And he says even more specifically, he says, you're not looking for a sign. You're just looking for some food. And so ask the students the question. And this is really from verse 25 through, I think it's, there's like 34. Ask them the question, do you want God or do you want God's stuff? The people weren't really coming to enjoy and appreciate and worship Jesus. They were coming for his stuff. And that's something that we still have to deal with now too. Like, am I talking to God because I love God and enjoy him? Or do I just want him to bless me and give me his stuff? Question number 2, do you recognize God's gifts to you? Verse 31, they say to him, okay, Jesus, you say that you're important. What sign do you show? It's so stupid. The same people he fed 5,000 people with. Okay, well, show us some proof that you're the Son of God. Moses showed us proof. He fed us. They kept coming back to this food thing. These people are really hungry. Surprise, surprise. So Moses gave us manna from heaven. Jesus, what do you give us? And Jesus immediately says, Moses didn't give that to you. My Father gave that to you. And so ask the students the question, do you recognize God's gifts in your life? And what I mean by this is there's a lot of times in our life when we just think, oh, I'm just really good at this, or I worked really hard for this, or my parents gave me this, or my grandparents gave me this. And all of those things can be true, but more importantly, we need to recognize that all the good things that we have in life ultimately came from God, which is all the more reason for us to worship him as our creator and our provider. And we so frequently forget to do that. Question number 3 is, do you find satisfaction in Jesus? He goes over and over and over again where he says, I'm the bread of life. He who comes after me will hunger and thirst no longer. And he's using the food analogy because that's what they're talking about. But the idea is, I know how to satisfy you more than real food does. I know how to satisfy you more than you pursuing what you want more than pursuing me does. I can satisfy you. So ask the students a question, does Jesus give you satisfaction? And by the way, a lot of them are going to say no, and that's okay. If we're honest, we're not. I suspect all of us could honestly say, no, every day Jesus does not satisfy me. The fault's not in Jesus, the fault is in us, but he's offering himself to us. And then the last question is, do you stop believing whenever you don't understand something Jesus taught, or you don't agree with something Jesus has taught, or when things get hard? You finish the chapter, and it says specifically in verse, I think it's verse 66, that that they didn't like what Jesus had to say, or they didn't understand what Jesus had to say. And so many people that had been following him, many people that got fed him the day before, they no longer follow Jesus. And then Jesus has the conversation with the disciples. Hey, are y'all going to leave too? And it's not a needy like, oh, are you guys going to leave me too? It's not at all needy. It's a, they're leaving. Y'all leaving too? Who you with? And he's asking us the same thing today too. There are going to be any number of times when we don't understand, we don't agree, we find it really, really hard to follow Jesus, but we need to follow anyway because he's the only one who has salvation. He's the only one that can satisfy, and because he's good. Guys, I love y'all. Can't wait to see you on Sunday. We'll talk to you later. Bye.